Hello YouTube, Nalynna here, and I'm back with another speed build. This time I'm building a library and I am using the Magic Realm stuff or expansion. I'm using the stuff from the Magic Realm pack that we got. Don't really remember if it's a stuff pack or an expansion pack or whatever the other pack is. I can't remember. I haven't even actually played it, to be honest. So I don't know what's going on in there, and I don't know what's good. But I was excited that this pack had come out because I did create my Sims 3 Legacy family. I believe they were my fourth generation or so. And I had created them or recreated the siblings in The Sims 4, and I had a very specific what you call it, had a very specific storyline for them. And it started off where the brother, as a teenager, he used a potion and accidentally turned his sister into a witch. And she's kind of just been out of control with her powers. And she's kind of been very angry with him, actually, for some time. And so now I'm just thinking that I can use this new expansion to continue her story and just help her get further along. She does not have parents. Her parents died when she was still a child, and her brother has been raising her, and he's kind of been doing a poor job at it. So I just wanted to kind of continue their story in here, and maybe I'll just take her on an adventure and like get her the witch powers, which doesn't make sense. So maybe I won't do that after all. um, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely take her on an adventure and give her those powers because that's how we have to do it in this game. But I really want to focus on having her be more in control of her powers and not just letting them be led by her emotions. You know, she's still a young girl. She's going through things, through changes. Her brother can't really help her. He's a young guy. You know, he's been raising her forever. She's out of control, and neither one of them knows how to handle the situation that they're in. So I think that's kind of like a story that I want to go through with this one. So I created this library because I hadn't played the game or the new stuff that was added to the game with this pack, and I couldn't find a library, or I couldn't figure out for the longest time where the heck to go to like get this ball rolling and start using magic. And I was kind of curious that it might have been in that space on the very back, which is like behind this lot. There's like this portal, and I was right. I went in there with one of my characters, who is my Dragon Age character, who is supposed to be MH, so I'm taking her on that adventure. At the moment, I think we've only collected the little speckles that you have to collect and turn them in, and then that's where that's at. She's still in the portal. I didn't get very far. I think I had to go to bed because I was kind of in between doing that and doing this build, and I got a little frustrated because I didn't really like the way the furnishing was going. I really wanted to stuff it up and like just use a lot of clutter, but I had to reboot my computer, and I lost a lot of stuff. I lost all of my CC. I never saved anything. I never backed it up anywhere. And that was my bad. I started to back it up, but I became really impatient because I hardly use my computer, so I didn't understand why it was giving me the problems that it was giving me. And so, through my own emotional state, I just kind of said screw it, and I lost a lot of stuff. And so yeah, I couldn't really clutter up the area and the space the way I wanted to, the way I've seen other people do it, and I know it's possible to make it just look cluttery and like dusty and stuff. But it's not like that. It's gonna be very spacious. Your Sims are gonna get around. There's not gonna be any trouble with them walking. That's another issue I have. I can't ever like overstuff the area because I'm a player of the game. I'm not just a builder, and I know that I built this up because I'm gonna go there and use it. So I wanted to make sure that my sim could get around, and I'm always conscious about that when it comes to other people probably using my builds. And I just want them to have an easy time of it. I don't want them to have to break it apart and like, put things back together, um, just to use a lot. And like, that's kind of the whole purpose of downloading other people's things, is so that you don't have to sit there and do it yourself. Like, I know a lot of builds are like super really super freaking cool, and it's just like they don't but they don't function all the time, and that's usually really frustrating to me personally because I'm like, I didn't want to sit here and have to like adjust everything and the furniture. I just wanted to play and use a lot, but that actually gets me out of the mood from playing, and it kind of sucks. So I'm just personally conscious. I'm not saying anybody else has to do that. Like, yeah, that's just me. So anyway, so I decided to make this little library here. I saw in the new world that we have for this pack, there are a couple of, I think they're just houses. It's like two families and then a small cheap lot that you can move into, and then this one empty lot that I was like, there's no library here? Seriously? And I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but then because I didn't really want to mess with the terrain around it, I kind of like to challenge myself and see what I can build around the trees. I'm not the kind of person who wants to erase like everything that's already on the lot. I kind of like to leave it there and see what I can do around it. So this library, it was always going to be small, but that kind of helped me kind of keep it that way and make sure I didn't get too out of control. So most of the like bookshelves are downstairs. There's not even that many bookshelves, to be honest. It's not like a full-on library. It's just kind of like I wanted it to be, but I also wanted it to be like a little shop without having to make it like a shop. You could just like buy books and just like go and study witchcraft and do those things. And so that's what I was doing here. Plus, we had all these little cool cabinets and things that I just wanted to throw in there and use. And then at this point, I realized I have to turn on move objects, which I try not to do because, again, I don't want anyone who wants to use the build to have to like move things around or like have missing items. So if I think I could get away with it kind of sitting there, then I'll do it. But definitely use move objects cheat just in case. So yeah, so this is the second floor. As you can see, I didn't realize that that cauldron was for cooking, and I was pleasantly surprised when I sent my sim to go use it and it said make mac and cheese, and I was just like, but like I really wanted to make potions and maybe turn other people into witches by mistake or just do really cool spells to them. Nothing harmful. Fun and games, things that will probably they will like pranks and things. I thought that would have been cute. So I haven't really fully played it. I don't know if that's possible yet. I don't have magic. So again, the sim using the cauldron was a non-magic sim at the time. I'm working on getting her magic. So maybe after that happens, she'll be able to do some spells on the cauldron. I'm not really sure. So yeah, this is one of probably two libraries. I don't know if I want my next library to just be a library room within a house. I think I'm gonna just do the room because I have this very specific idea for just like a space, but it's not an idea for like a whole build that I'm gonna sit there and like try to figure out where am I gonna put all these things at. It's just an idea for a space. I think I'm definitely gonna give you a room next. I'm still working on the tutor build and I still have to post and edit my kitchen for Irene Vivian, which is a sim I created and uploaded last. That was the last video, I think. Not the last video. That was the last video I did. I don't think I know. Sorry, I'm going really fast. My new editing software is like really weird, and I can see my screenshots coming up very soon. I don't know how many minutes I have in between. It tells me I have like a lot of minutes here, but it doesn't really seem that way because of how the like strip looks. I'm using iMovie now, and I actually was just complaining about it. This is my second time recording the voiceover, and I was saying I can't do this and I can't do that, and then I paused, like my phone rang and I was forced to like stop what I was doing, and I had to restart all over again because I have no idea how to edit in this thing, and it's been really frustrating. But I can do the thing that I thought I couldn't do, which was to clip in between a longer clip. Like, I know I was trying to use the app on my phone and it wasn't really allowing me to do that. Like, I had to make the clip shorter and then copy it and paste it and then bring it back to the spot so that I can continue. But on the desktop, I'm able to like right click and like snip it and then just get that piece out without having to like go through this whole project, which was super frustrating, and honestly it was keeping me from doing anything. Like I was recording and I have videos sitting there that need to be edited, but I did not want to touch them because I'm just like, ugh, I don't know how to use this thing. And it seems more complicated than it does simple, which I feel like the design is telling me this is going to be easy to use. But when I actually go in and look for things that I know should be there or things that I'm used to having there to do the job, it's like I can't find them and they're not easy to find. And there's these, like all these other things that I'm just like, what the heck is this? And I don't know how to use them. I'm going to figure it out. I've already got the main point down, which is to kind of cut in between a full clip and just like let it flow and just delete these little sections out. Because when I'm building, what happens is my mouse is kind of, it's a touch mouse. So if I touch across it a certain way, like my whole screen moves over and it brings me to my desktop, and then you just see whatever I have going on in the background. And it's like really annoying to see the screen like swapping back and forth. I think you might have seen that in my last video, unless I was very careful in how I might have actually turned that off altogether. But you are gonna see my menu on the bottom. Just kind of the dock is gonna be going up and down. If you haven't noticed it, it's gonna be doing that because for some reason when I'm recording, my mouse just wants to go all the way to the bottom, even though I'm just like really carefully and slowly making sure that doesn't happen. It's like if it touches a certain part on the screen, it just goes. There you go. Just did it. And I didn't have that problem before, but I was having an issue getting out of the game. So I don't know what I did to make that happen, but I'm having a problem turning it off and I haven't figured it out. Like I've done all the things where it's like hide it, but it's not hiding it. I've moved it to the left and the right, but then I always manage to bump into it somehow, so it's always popping in and out of the screen here. But yeah, so this is the downstairs. The upstairs just has like some seats, computers. I really wanted to use a lot of whatever they gave us, and then I did have to kind of dig into base game stuff and like plants and things, which I really didn't want to put. Actually, I did want to put plants, but I don't know. Like you can see there, my screen was about to shift again. So then I'm just using these stools to like, I haven't done that in a while. That was a thing that I was like, saw Deli doing and I was like, oh, this is so cute and cool. And so I was doing it too. And just kind of filling in the spaces here, make it look a little bit more lively. That's where I was like, I think that's where I left the clutter because I knew at this point I didn't have this red shelf that I like to use. It was really helping me put like a lot of the clutter items and just stuff them together and on top of each other and like front and behind each other using shelves. And I think the Sims team really needs to make that a thing in the game where I don't need to keep importing like CC items to make the game do something that it should do. My shelf should be full. Like the squares for really small items should be half of what they are, if not maybe a quarter of what they are, because they are filling up a whole block for no reason. Like they should be smaller. I think I've mentioned this before. There's a plant in the game that's like from one of those bigger squares on the grid, you see like four smaller boxes. There's one item that is a measure of one of those small boxes, and I think a lot more items need to have that smaller grid, especially when they are not that big. Like they don't need to have this full on thing. And I feel like that's something they should go back and revise. I love The Sims and I love the game, but I will still play this game, but I feel like really this was probably the laziest job I have seen. And even though the team is always saying they really love the game, they really love the game, I don't feel that that's true because why do you have missing items? Why do you have to wait till somebody tells you something's missing to upload it? Why doesn't anything fit together automatically? Like it feels like you know that you're just gonna get our money anyway and you're just being lazy about it, and it's really like it's really hurtful to feel that you're being treated that way, especially when you're giving someone money to do something. If they don't want to do it passionately as they have done in the past, then they should just give it up and like leave it alone. I personally don't need another Sims game. I mean, if they fix this one, that's fine. Sims 3 was all I ever wanted in a game. Open world, I didn't have to load every single time. Smooth. Yes, there was a lot of glitches. Personally, my computer was not up to par to be playing that game. And also, it didn't help when I downloaded a buttload of CC into it. That was another issue, but that was a personal issue that the team shouldn't have had to feel like, they should be like a turn off the in-game stuff if you're going to use CC, even though I'm sure they don't do it because they don't recommend you doing that. You never know who's posting what and, where you're getting your stuff from. I like to think that our community wouldn't do that to us, but there's always someone out there who's just trying to be funny in a mean way. So, anyway, that's just how I feel about that. And I got it off my chest again because every time I come back to build, I find myself renewed and frustrated, even though I really do love this game. I enjoy this game, and it's because I like to tell stories. I don't tell them really well, and they're never thought through like fully, and you kind of just play and figure it out. A lot of people don't get that when they're like, oh, I don't understand, you're just like making this sim do something that you yourself are not doing. And yeah, that's true, but I am playing a story in my own mind, and sometimes it takes me a while to get from A to B, which is why I wish that they still left turn off aging so that I can get through that transitional time where I'm playing with the sim and nothing's happening until I start figuring out who they are, what they want to do, and the kind of story that's going to be built as I'm playing. So that's just me anyway, and I'm sure there are a lot of other people who do that, like Urban Sims. I love watching her let's plays. I haven't watched anything in a while, but I love her stories. Like, she would say things like, oh, this sim found this here, and I was like, what, you could do that? And it's like, no, you can't actually do that. But she's just for the story, the purpose of the story, like, this is what she's saying is happening, part of her narrative. And I would always be like, what, I didn't know you could do that, like. And it would just take me a minute to be like, wait, no, you can't actually do that, it's just for the story. Like, I was really believing that the, the game had advanced. But that's just, my bad. That's just me. So I think we're coming toward the end of I finally found the timer, by the way. So we are getting towards the end of the build. I don't think I show you what I do in that little gazebo over there. At this point, I can see that the roof wasn't even covered on there. I think I'm going to put in the chess table because this is still a library. I didn't want to have to force people to come here and feel like they have to spend money or like have the Sims like bother you. I don't know. I haven't really played that part either for the game. But it's just a library right now. It has everything that a library requests. And I hope that you enjoyed this kind of build. I hope you enjoyed the library. If you have any suggestions for things I could have done a little differently, or like items I should have added, and just ways I can improve on my builds, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Always looking for ways to improve. And yeah, sorry I haven't really been posting that much. I know that I lost a few people, but then I gained a couple of followers back. Hello, welcome. Thank you for following me. Thank you for being patient with me. And I'm sure you haven't noticed I was gone at all. But thank you. And I'm just gonna leave this here. Hope you enjoyed the build, enjoy the screenshots, and until next time, I will see you then. Bye.